Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. Good morning. Yeah. April 6th meeting. We'll dive right in. We have all commissioners here except for Commissioner Abendroth will not be here today. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Monday, March 30th, 2026 meeting as written.
So I'll second that.
Okay, Parker moved, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That passes 4-0. Okay, use that pad. Yeah.
Okay.
We have some miscellaneous motions, or a miscellaneous motion. Entertain a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Levi Growers, Sheriff's Office, Deputy Sheriff, transfer from jail, corrections, step change and a grade change, a class change, subject to regular IPP wage classification from 30-4 to 40-1, wage from $21.86 to $23.02, effective April 7th, 2026.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second it.
McCurry moved, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion?
So, where he moved to from to
When he moved from jail to deputy, is that?
deputy, is that
right?
right? I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's, okay.
That's what all that is. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 4-0. We are ready for our 9:05. It's actually a hearing, so we gotta wait till 9:05.
I better wait till 9:05.
Are we all set up on the technology?
Yes. So you got Russ
Oh, Russ is-
on Teams with us?
I see Russ.
Okay.
Good morning.
Russ, can you hear us all right?
Russ, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Turn you up.
Yeah, we need some more volume.
Was Wade gonna be here? Anybody know?
I don't have any idea.
We still have a little over a minute here, so.
You gonna text him?
Well,
Okay.
you can, how's that?
Okay. Turn him up quick. Just the one that says plus or minus. Need to adjust it.
Heidi, it's 9:05. So we're ready to, do I just need to start going through this, or are you gonna give us narrative first, or?
Nope, you just start
Okay.
reading the checklist. For YouTube though, I wanted to let them know that we have Russ Avey, our planning consultant, on Teams with us to join the hearing.
Okay. All right, it's 9:05, and we have a procedure here to readopt the revised zoning regulations as a model code for Coffee County, Kansas. So I, as chairman, will call agenda item number 1 on the April 6, 2026 agenda. This summary of hearing. I ask the governing body members if they have all received copies of the unapproved minutes of the planning board meeting for March 25th, 2026, which summarizes the public hearing on the revised changes to the zoning regulations. I think we received them before this meeting.
Yes, yes.
So has everyone received them? Having determined that the members have received the minutes of the planning board hearing, we will proceed with the meeting. The governing body will first hear from the zoning administrator, then members from the public will be asked if there is any new information on this matter. Commission members may choose to ask questions of the zoning administrator, county staff, and the public. So, zoning administrator's report, I call on our zoning administrator, Heidi Harris, for presentation as may be necessary of the proposed revised zoning regulations as a model code, and answer questions of the commissioners.
So, this is the booklet that they had for the meeting. We talked about it at the meeting. The public didn't have any comments in regards to the zoning regulations, so the planning board had made a recommendation to forward it on to you guys for approval with was written in here. So as you see in there, the stuff in red would be what was going away, and the stuff in blue is what we'd like to keep. So the other thing that you also have to update as well, if you guys do approval, would be our official zoning map. So this is going to change. So our districts are going to change on there. So if you look at the bottom in the zoning districts, you're going to, if you do approval, it'll be ag, which would be agricultural, RR, which would be rural residential, V-1, which is V village, BC would be commercial, and then the red lines around the cities would be the city's extraterritorial zoning districts, zoning areas, if they so desired to exercise that. The two cities that do not exercise it to date are Gridley and Leroy. If they so desired to, they just have to put regulations in place, and then they gotta use their area. If they want to expand that area for whatever reason, they would ask us, the county, and start with the planning board, make a petition to increase that area and give us a legal description of that area if they wanted to increase it. The statute is up to 3 miles, and so that's one option. But right now, the reason why we show that is so that way when I'm helping the citizens, I can tell them that that's whose area that is and who to talk to for proper permitting. So that is all I have on the updates, unless you guys have questions.
So on the two southern, if they wanted to expand, it would go to the zoning board first?
It'll start out the zoning board for a hearing.
Oh, okay.
And
then they would recommend one way or the other, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, and then you guys will do the final approval on that after that hearing.
But would they have to have their own
They have
zoning
to have their
boards?
own regulations put in place
Put in place
first.
before they,
Yes,
And they do not at this
neither
time.
one of them do not, that is correct.
So east of Gridley there, I think there's, out there where Jones used to have their oil company, I think that's already been brought into their city limits. Am I correct or not?
I'd have to look into that. I'm not familiar with the city limits of our cities, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're
But
by
if
the
it is,
watershed.
but if it is in the city limits, we don't zone in the city limits of the cities. We zone up to the city limits of the cities. So if they were to add more to their city limits, that's their zoning jurisdictional area, regardless of that extraterritorial area.
but what you're saying, Wade, is where that red line is, you think that's already, that's that watershed right east of?
I'm just certain I was told that that building out there that they've brought it in to the city limits already.
I'd have to look into that, I'm not sure.
Well,
But if that's the case, then their their zoning would be city limits, not us, then, in that case.
okay. Well, I guess I've got a problem with this, under jurisdiction on page 2. I know more about the city of Gridley than I do about Leroy, but the city has spent thousands of dollars, updating their ordinances and their codes. And I think this ought to be cut off at the point where it says, which has adopted zoning regulations, provided the city within any such area shall have officially adopted by their governing body by ordinance a comprehensive plan for the city and surrounding planning area and adopted zoning regulations for the city and for an extraterritorial jurisdiction. I'm not sure, and I talked to Wade about this last night, I'm not sure that that's enforceable to begin with. That I'm not sure this doesn't fall under home rule of telling the cities what they can and can't do. I mean, they've got elected officials that govern their area. So I'm not wanting to see that portion added. I mean, everything's fine up to the point, where everything's fine up where it says that's half the distance between another city. I understand that if those two areas would overlap, but and maybe they do between Burlington and New Strong. But I'm not in favor of that, adding that portion.
So, we're given authority under KSA 12-741, and that also helps the cities have authority too, as well, for zoning jurisdiction. So you're saying that you don't want for an extraterritorial jurisdiction around the city not exceeding the limits as described in our Appendix A? That's what you're saying?
Well, I just don't think that they should be required to have zoning regulations or a comprehensive plan.
Okay, so to exercise that area around their city that we're putting in our regulations, they'd have to have those to be able to do zoning, because the whole county is a zone county. That's why that's in there. But we're not telling them that they have to put them in place. We're not saying they have to do zoning.
Now,
Well, you're requiring it of them if they want to do anything in their extraterritorial area, right?
According to 12-741, yes,
So that's already
law.
a current,
That's already a current law, yes. That's the zoning statute that gives counties and cities the authority to have zoning areas and do zoning regulations and comp plans.
okay. Well, Wade was going to check into that, and I hadn't had a chance to talk back with him this morning, but.
I just texted him, told him
Russ, is there anything you'd like to add?
Pardon me?
Russ.
Russ?
I don't, Heidi, I think you summarized the statutory requirements well. As far as the weight of the language, I think it's fairly light in that.
Yeah, have to wait a minute, we can't hear you.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Hold on, we're trying to turn you up.
You got cut off there. If
Sorry.
you could repeat that, please.
And I answered the question so perfectly. Now I forgot. No. This language is a little bit, I wouldn't want to say extraneous. Heidi did a great job of explaining the statutory requirements and why that language is in there. Whether we truncate that or not to eliminate the everything after that semicolon, provided that the city within each area adopt comprehensive plan and zoning regulations for the extraterritorial jurisdiction. Technically, that is a requirement on that city. It is not the county's responsibility to enforce or to dictate to Gridley or any other, community in the county what they have to do. We are not encumbering them, we are not requiring them additional work. That work is already placed on that city under those under that statute that Heidi referenced. We don't have a dog in this fight, I guess is what I'm saying. So,
Okay,
keeping the language in, taking it out, I think all that language is doing is pointing out their requirement that if they want to zone and, let me back up. If that community, and let's say Gridley in this instance, wishes to manage growth in their extraterritorial jurisdiction, those are the two things they need to have in place. And it sounds like they may already have that in place, or they're working to get that in place, whatever that is. But it's not ability to Coffee County. It is just simply pointing out that we, Coffee County, have allowed Gridley extraterritorial jurisdiction to manage growth in their region. That's perfect. That exempts us, that takes us out of having to manage those issues for them. So really, under the county zoning regulations, we're just stating a fact. We're not imposing a condition on them. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. Having it in there just kind of, for lack of a better term, just kind of a traditional way of handling it in county regulations. Otherwise, if we didn't have Appendix A, and we didn't in the past allow these several communities to have an ETJ, then we would be responsible to manage that growth through zoning and subdivision regulations and our comprehensive plan. So, obviously, I work for you all, so if there's modifications to that Section 1-102 that needs to occur, we can certainly make that work.
so does
Another way of thinking about it is if we remove that language, nothing has really changed.
okay, so
Gridley would still be required to have this in place.
the zoning regulations require, or the state statute requires that they have zoning and a comprehensive plan? That's spelled out in the state regulations?
Yes, and if we want to blush here for a second, in order to have zoning and subdivision regulations, you must have an adopted comprehensive plan.
Yes.
And we know that we're
It does.
getting close to approving our first comprehensive plan here in Coffee County. So, right, yes. But yes, that is the language of the statute. Now, the question I would also have for Wade, and perhaps I tout myself as a planning consultant should know this, but I've never experienced this. We could give the ETJ to Gridley, and if they don't have zoning regulations, that's their issue. So I guess to answer your question, I'm uncertain, presumably, and this is just my assumption, we could still grant them an ETJ. Gridley may not have zoning or unadopt their zoning regulations and dissolve their comprehensive plan if they have one, and that ETJ would be a no man's land. It would be unregulated. Whether that's a county concern or not,
But
it's up for you five to decide.
if it were unregulated, then anything could happen within that area, is that correct?
Correct.
That would be correct.
Okay.
But since they don't have adopted ones, we zone up to the city limits currently for both.
Currently.
But this doesn't affect what's inside of the
No.
city limits?
No, any city in Kansas, they get to decide
Yeah.
what happens in their city. The county cannot come and tell any of the cities that they have to zone something specifically this way, or that they have to have their growth occur this way in their city limits. No, we can't do that. No, that's not what that's saying.
Right.
Okay.
And many, many counties do not have an ETJ or have not allowed their cities to have extraterritorial jurisdiction because they want to have control right up to the city limits. And as the city expands, the county retreats along that same city limit line. So most of the counties that I work with do not have extraterritorial jurisdiction. They have notification areas so they can get enhanced and better notification of what the county may or may not be looking at zoning. But in the ETJ, think of that ETJ line, those red lines on the map that Heidi showed you, think of them as the city limit. So we are not active within that red boundary. And the question is, as to what level do we care what the city does in that area? So,
I wasn't aware of that, and I wasn't aware that included a comprehensive plan and those regulations. So that was my concern, was that, you know, I guess I feel like, you know, I am so appreciative for all the work that's gone into this. I want to say that up front, and the planning board and everyone, and you, Russ, everybody's done all this work. I'm not questioning that, but I feel like, you know, the city of Gridley is represented by their council people, and they're elected. And I guess when it comes to planning and zoning, that buck stops here too. This is really our decision to make, because we have to answer to our constituents. That's, you know, like I say, I'm very appreciative for everything everyone's done. I'm not, you know, trying to pick away at it, just have some questions that.
That's what we're here for.
So in respect to, and I didn't read every word of this, I mean, I've scanned over every page of it, but what is your policy on shipping containers? It's referenced several different times in there, but in reference to what? Like say for a farmer, what's the use of a shipping container? Can he use shipping containers on his farm for storage?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, was champing at the bit here. So storage containers are regulated basically in two ways. First, as a storage container, like most of them are, that would be regulated as any other accessory structure. So they would be permitted, they would be located within leasing building setbacks, are a permitted accessory structure. The second way, and this may sound funny, but it's happening right down the street from my office. Shipping containers are also being used as offices, other buildings, and residential structures. So when we talk about shipping containers as residential structures, we have a whole separate section that regulates how those are managed and how they're permitted. So that's the basic regulation of storage or shipping containers.
Okay, I thought I read in there somewhere that they couldn't be used for those types of uses.
They could be. It just depends what they're using it for, and I'd have to evaluate the use of the shipping container. So.
Because, I mean, you know, lots of people have them, lots of people use them.
But the ones that already have them now will be grandfathered in with, if you guys were to approve these today. There'd only be the future ones that would come in after that.
How are you gonna monitor that?
So that's where the appraiser would come in and help me, and then other people in the community, and then for zone county. So anytime you put a structure out there, you need a permit for it. So that's how we would monitor it.
So if a farmer wants a storage container, he can get a permit for it, and he can do it if he's away from the boundaries of his property and neighbors.
The use of it, yeah, that's where that would come into play.
Because I'm not trying to be difficult. It's referenced in there a lot of different places and a lot of different circumstances, and I was just trying to get a gist of
So
what it actually
if
says.
it's for farming, then they could come in and fill out a specific permit that allows them to use it. If it's for something else, I'd have to evaluate the regs to see what specific use that is to answer that good question. But that's why it's in there multiple ways, because it can be used in multiple different ways, unfortunately, for ag, for residential, for,
Right,
uh,
right.
for commercial as well, or even maybe industrial, so, or storage. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, that would be why it's referenced anyways.
right, okay.
But also too, if they are aggrieved by any decisions I make, they can appeal my decision to the Board of Zoning Appeals if they feel like I made it in error. So there is still that option, even though we have it in there several times. And
Okay,
I do tell them up front
okay.
when they're applying for any permits that that's also an option.
So, some wording that was added on page 1 about the purpose of the regulations on C, that the paragraph was struck and it was added to read, to conserve prime agricultural land and protect it from the intrusion of incompatible uses, but not regulate it or restrict the primary use of land for agricultural uses. Well, I mean, I'm all for conserving our farmland, but a statement like that, I mean, we own property the county does at 75 and I-35, that our hope is to change it to something that's possibly not compatible with agriculture. So I'm just not sure about the wording of this statement.
So you guys as county commissioners have the ability on property in Coffee County to make amendments to them. An amendment to the regulations would be going from ag to a different district, whether that be industrial, commercial, kind of thing. So you guys have the abilities to do that. This is just saying that we prefer or want to help our farmers be able to keep their ag land, but we also recognize that there are other uses out there that may not be compatible with the neighbors that are around it.
Right, right.
That's what that's saying.
Because, I mean, and like on page 141, it talks about putting traffic on roads, and a traffic study must address how the traffic generated by the proposed development will be handled on the site, how vehicular ingress and egress from the site onto public roads will function. I'll agree with that. And show that no undue burden will be placed upon the existing public road system. I mean, if we're gonna have industry, there's gonna be a burden placed on the public road system. We're gonna have to make changes. Am I thinking the wrong way here, or?
I think there's a one word that plays a critical role, and that is the reasonableness. So what you all do as the governing body of Coffee County is make a decision on the reasonableness of an amendment, of a proposed amendment to the zoning regulations
Okay.
on a specific tract of land. Today, we're in a legislative action that are making an amendment to the entire set of regulations. The second type of amendment is for the individual parcel. It's the type of zoning action that we're all more familiar with, and that's the quasi-judicial amendment process, where you are making a determination of the reasonableness based on all the factors found in the comprehensive plan, based on all the factors outlined by state law that's reflected in our regulations, and that is the reasonableness of what the harm to the general public may be as compared to the loss in value of the proposed project to the property owner. So we make those value judgments each and every time we approve a zone change, a special use, a conditional use going forward, etc. So what we're saying in that language is those are the types of factors that we consider, I should say you all consider, as the Board of County Commissioners in making that determination. They're correct. Any change, a single-family home on an unapproved road is going to impact traffic.
Right, right.
It's not whether or not change happens, it's the degree to which the change that is proposed is manageable or unmanageable.
Okay.
I've had experiences with, granted, probably no greater impact on the efficiency and safety of a roadway than, you know, rolling down an unapproved county road with farm equipment or heavy trucks hauling grain, rock quarry hauling routes. All of these will impact it. So,
Right.
like quarries, and this really comes into play there, is the road management plan acceptable to mitigate the extreme change or impact, negative impact to that road system? Depending on the specifics of that particular zone request, we make those decisions. Heidi helps by putting together a staff report with a recommendation. The planning board pre-digests it and makes a recommendation and sends it on to you. And if you're satisfied with the comments and the restrictions placed on that, then we move forward and we approve that and adopt that resolution. But it also gives you the ability to say, this is just too much activity at this location with that area of the county's limitations on roads or bridges or other waterways. And we make those individual decisions. So it's really just kind of outlining what the rules of the game are
Or another way,
without prescribing.
another way to think about it is like, it's a big development like a rock quarry or maybe a wind farm.
Oh, right.
Maybe you want
right.
another, so this would help show you that maybe you need another agreement with just the commissioners and that company to say, hey, when you guys go tear up our road, you're gonna go
This-
back and fix it.
That's gonna
So what it-
require some reimbursement or them
Correct.
to
Yeah,
pay
that's-
for it.
that's
Road and
what
Bridge,
this is.
Road and Bridge would be involved in,
Yes.
Right.
and all that.
Yeah.
The wording just concerned me a little bit, okay?
But that's-
And like I said before, I'm not trying to pick this apart, okay?
You're
A
asking
lot
really
of
good
work has
questions.
gone
but-
into this, okay?
No, you're asking really good questions, but this piece where you pulled it from, that's where our conditional use section is. So when we're evaluating those as planning board plus you guys, we have certain things that we wanna see in that case. We wanna see how much the traffic's gonna affect it. We wanna see, how it's gonna affect the citizens around it. We wanna see what it's zoned as to, Make
Before
sure-
anything's approved.
yes.
Yeah.
We wanna evaluate all these factors or concerns that your
Okay.
constituents may have, or maybe that we have as county officials and county staff about what the current development is.
Then it can be
That-
taken one step further, we can adjust those roads or whatever
Mhm.
need be to meet the needs of that.
Right, right.
Right.
But that's where the traffic study would come in.
Right.
Yeah.
And with the recommendations
And
of
since-
all,
Since we didn't have it in the prior regulations, we've been having, big discussions about big development, and we felt like it was a good idea to have this requirement for these cases, so that way you wouldn't have to put it as a condition every time and say, we require you to do this. It's already in there as a requirement to be able to do that for us, so we can see how much it's gonna impact our roads.
Okay.
That would be why
Right.
it's in there.
And,
And if you guys,
and there's a lot of,
sorry, and if there's requirements in here, say for instance, the planning board feels, or you guys feel that they don't apply for that case, you can also, in your motion, you're just reviewing it, say you don't feel like they need to have this condition anymore, and you scratch it from that case completely kind of thing. So maybe you don't think a traffic study's needed, then that would be the time where you guys would say they don't need to do it, kind of thing
Okay.
as well. You have the ability to change things out of here too, so, at the hearing level when it comes to you for recommendation.
Okay. So I guess, and this is very minor, but on page 153, I'm not the chairman any longer.
Yes,
oh,
yeah, sorry, yes,
I noticed that too.
sorry. I did make a scrivener's error, yes, that should be marked.
No, that's fine.
But yes, thank you for bringing that up. We did update the map, because the map did have Wade's name on it as well, so we did make it marked on there. But yes, I did miss that one, yes.
So, and I can't remember, maybe this was, I'll look and see. There was a reference to, developments and, no, it's not on page 6. Somewhere it mentioned, like an industry or a building that, I can't remember the wording, that dealt with noise of an industry or something. And I'm sorry, I didn't write that down, I didn't have time to look it up again. But, I mean, if a neighbor, let's say, lives a mile away from a manufacturing plant or something, I mean, there's a probability they're probably gonna be able to hear some noise. But I can't remember the word that was used to disruptive or, I was just curious how that would be determined, what that
I saw that.
level was.
I saw that too, and who determines,
Yeah, who
I didn't mean to interrupt, but.
No, that's fine, Steve. Who would, determine what's an acceptable noise?
So I would be the one that would evaluate that. So we would have to hire someone to evaluate the noise levels, because I'm not a noise expert by any stretch of
Yeah.
imagination.
Yeah,
So, but that's,
but I mean, you know, say, just like, for instance, this proposed, nuclear generator, if there's some fans or something that run with it or something, I mean, I'm guessing a low hum or a background type noise isn't gonna be, you know, how's that level gonna be determined, I guess, is what I'm curious about. I guess that'd have to be determined.
I can jump in really quick.
let him jump in real quick, answer that one.
Okay,
So, with the exception, I'm sure, of Douglas and probably Shawnee, Sedgwick County as an example, have noise ordinances or noise resolutions that discuss just background noise generation. Every place else, nowhere else that I practice, we have any type of set noise nuisance policy.
okay,
So there's always the expectation, you know, a co-op drying seed periodically, that's gonna have a noise to it
Right,
associated
that's
with
what I'm
agriculture. It's
talking
just
about.
something we're all accustomed to.
yeah,
The noise, requirements, and again, much like traffic impact, if there's an anticipation that this business, or this operation, this land use, will have a negative impact, we can, the planning staff can recommend it, planning board can recommend it, and you can adopt it in the resolution, certain standards specific to that land use. So we haven't, you know, over the horizon here, we're going to be coming back with amendments to this very set of regulations dealing with solar, perhaps battery energy storage systems, perhaps data centers. Those are the hot things that are raining down hard right now. So all of those, perhaps with the exception of solar, have noise generation that is above and beyond what we would consider background typical rural noise. We would probably build in, for example, on battery energy storage systems or data centers, they require a lot of cooling, a lot of fans, a lot of buzz, right? And so we would have the ability, and we're working with Sumner County on this right now to adopt this, where we have the requirement that this company that wants to build a data center has to come in with an acoustical engineer and show how they're going, what their equipment generates above, say, 40 to 50 decibels is typical background noise. So if they're going to generate in excess of, say, 50 decibels or 40 decibels, then they're required to do a sound study of what their equipment's going to produce, a mitigation strategy of how they're going to control that, perhaps through physical containment, perhaps through increased setbacks from residential properties, those types of things. And again, the zoning regulations like traffic impact studies is not seeking to require them for each and every conditional use permit application. As a matter of fact, we'll probably only do it 2 or 3 times ever. Because, there's only so many wind farms, so many data centers, so many battery energy storage
Right.
systems that's going to go into a county. So quarries may be a little bit more frequent, but
right,
similar to quarries, that they don't necessarily generate continuous noise like a data center, but they blast.
Well,
So,
they have a lot of
quarries,
continuous
oftentimes
noise
we
when
will
they're
have
crushing.
experts, expert demo people that are going to control those blasts, and they do a blast radius, and they tell you that the blast energy is gonna follow this rock formation underground 2 miles to the east, or whatever. What we're setting up the regulations to do is kind of announcing to them that we have the ability to require additional information, such as traffic impact studies, noise studies, light studies, blast radius studies, for these more specialized and infrequent land uses. So we're not trying to burden the average citizen of County with the extraneous requirements, which equals extraneous costs to what they're trying to do to the betterment of the county, right? So what we're trying to do is protect when a large organization is coming into the county and trying to establish some sort of extractive or energy type of use. We have the tools to require them additional information so you all can make the best, most reasonable decision possible.
So like a 40 or 50 decibel, would you have any idea of what kind of an example, I mean, like a farm tractor generate that much noise, or what's that kind of decibel equal to? Do you have any idea?
Yes. So, you know, if you've got a combine idling at 20 feet, that's probably running about 70 decibels. 200 feet, that's probably down around 50, right? So it's proximity. And when we get into that specific information, I'm trying to remember, I've only have about 500 hours of listening to this about wind energy under my belt, and I think I've just repressed it. But, you know, standing about 400, 500 feet, let's say an eighth of a mile from a wind turbine, to me it just sounds like a piece of farm equipment idling at about the same distance. So yeah, farm equipment on the property is probably going to get well above that 50, you know, 60 decibels, 70 decibels, somewhere in there.
Uh-huh.
But it's not really affecting the farm a quarter mile away.
Right, okay. Here's one of my major concerns. We got legislation that's passed right now that's gonna restrict the ability, possibly, if the governor passes it, to go above revenue neutral. We've gotta be, and we've got a hospital that's part of our, plan for Wolf Creek. You know, they're struggling for funding. We've got to be friendly to industry to come in here to try to get some more tax base. That's my concern, okay? And I sure hope we get this generator that's been proposed. I mean, that'd be great. But we can't have our cake and eat it too. We can't sit out here and live, live perfectly and everything go on the way it is. Everything's not going to go on the way it is. It's going to take more money all the time. Costs go up. The county's no different than our citizens. I mean, you know.
You can't, you've got to be gentle on that weight of weighing back and forth between what the county needs financially and the quality of life for our people that are here.
I agree with that.
You don't need a bunch of racket beside somebody's house where they're going to have to live.
But that's not it. I mean,
I mean, it's not it.
I'm saying we're dealing with trying to bring industry in.
I know it, but what he's saying, he's not wanting these regulations
No,
because
no,
there's too much
that's not what
noise.
I'm saying. I just wanted to understand what how that would be judged and how that decision would be made. No, I don't want people's lives to be disrupted either, Todd. I don't, but we've got to have more revenue. Nobody hates taxes any worse than I do. I pay quite a few of them. It takes more than my salary to pay all my taxes, my salary here. So, I don't like taxes, but they're a necessary evil for us to have the things that we have here in this county. And just had some concerns about the
Uh,
way
zo-
things were
Zoning
worded, okay.
regulations, so, I mean, they allow you to try to pursue some of those industries, whatever, and be able to place restrictions, right, or conditions on the uses. And that, is that part of what the zoning regulations are?
You're trying
And I
to,
would add, as necessary.
as necessary, yeah.
Yes.
So
You can
there's
add conditions as necessary.
certain cases that may need more, where there's this other one that doesn't need as many, because there's not as many people that are going to be affected by that use in that area. kind of thing.
Now, my concern about the noise was that it was, the description was vague, that, you know, I mean, if someone lives a half mile down the road and they can put their hand to their ear and hear it, is that, you know,
So
I
in
just
that-
wanna know who's gonna make that decision of what's acceptable and what's not. I don't want people's lives to be disrupted by anything.
So the evaluation of the sound would be through staff with the planning board, and then we would they'd make recommendation, maybe that we'd like to see a study done to see how far that sound would travel, how much it's going to be at the, if there was lots of landowners like nearby it, like within, 100 feet or whatever of the project, maybe want that done and have them pay another company to do it, so as we can see how it's
Okay.
going to affect people. We wouldn't be paying for that study, we'd be asking the applicant to pay for that study because we're the ones needing to know how it's going to affect our citizens. And if
Okay.
they wanna come in, they would be willing to do that.
And those studies would be done from outside
Yes,
to determine. It wouldn't just be determined on someone saying, well, that's too loud for me.
it'd be
That's all I was
it would be a
asking,
professional
you know,
company they
Right.
would hire,
Right.
and
was who was gonna make that decision, you know.
that professional company
Okay.
would,
Most
and
of these
then,
companies are already,
huh,
sorry. I talked over you, I didn't finish, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, for large-scale projects that were all, the examples that are in the back of my mind, solar, wind, data centers, battery energy storage systems, and quarries, those types of applicants will have all this information anyway. They've had to do it in Iowa, they've had to do it in South Dakota, they've had to do it in Wyoming, they've had to do it in Kansas. So they're gonna have that information. We're not, in my estimation, we are not going to jeopardize a project because we're asking for a sound study. We're not necessarily jeopardizing the viability of a project coming into the county based on a traffic study or a road agreement. That is what they're accustomed to. And as a point of pride, and I think we talked about it when I was hired on with Coffee County, that my philosophy about these types of land use regulations is to make them minimal, which makes them manageable, and it provides you all, the governing body, maximum flexibility. And at the end of the day, your decisions on a specific land use is going to be graded on its reasonableness. And the state of Kansas, and Wade can certainly correct me if I miss or overstate this, but the Kansas courts very much favor governing bodies' reasonableness over the objections of a disgruntled applicant. So that used to not always be the case, say 30 years ago, but today we live in an environment where the judicial process favors local authority as it should. I think we can all agree on that. So again, we're setting up a system that is going to be recognizable to outside applicants. It's going to be kind, I think, for lack of a better term, to the citizens that are trying to do new things with their land, but also protect the general health, safety, and welfare of the county, which is our primary objective.
Right, and I totally agree with that. I don't want our county to look like some war zone or something. That's not what I'm saying. I just, I was just wanting a little explanation on that.
Certainly. It's a great conversation. We've had great conversations throughout this year and a half. Planning board, thorough to almost a fault at times, but it's been a great process, quite frankly.
Well, once again, a lot of efforts went into this, and thank all of our planning board members. These people volunteered, put a lot of time into this, and I appreciate their efforts.
I think we all appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do we have any further questions for our zoning administrator? Okay. We'll move on to the communications. Are there any communications to consider? Nothing from the clerk's office or anything else? Public comments. Does anyone from the public wish to speak to this matter? If so, please come forward and provide your name and address for the record. Appears there are no public comments. So we'll move to the Board of County Commissioners deliberation part of this hearing. Assuming the governing body has received all the information they need on this matter, I will outline the choices provided below, and we can discuss any comments that the board members may have. Anyway, we have 5 choices. Basically, we can either approve, override, and disapprove. We can return it to the planning board, we can revise, or we can table this matter. If you would like me to, I could go into that further, or...
I move that we approve.
My questions have been answered,
Okay. So,
You moved?
well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You want to read?
I'll go ahead and read that if
For the public, maybe.
we're in general agreement to move forward with the approval part. It would, number 1 would be to approve by majority vote, move to accept the recommendation of the planning board and approve resolution number 386-F, adopting the Coffee County zoning regulations and direct the county clerk to publish resolution. So that's what we did.
So moved.
So Barker moved,
Second.
McCurry seconded. Do we have any discussion, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? That passes 4-0. And persons aggrieved by the final decision of the governing body on this matter have 30 days, that's 30 days, after the resolution is published, within which to appeal to the district court. I believe that concludes this hearing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Appreciate everybody's participation.
I have one more thing and then I will leave you, I promise.
Okay.
So, since you guys just went ahead and adopted the new regulations in the regs, if you should have a copy of the resolution number 407A. That is our fee schedule. So in our fee schedule, anywhere that it says special use, we need to change to conditional use now, because that's the name we're going to start calling it from Thursday on.
Is that A or B?
It'll be B if it gets approved today,
Okay.
but it was A.
Okay.
And then another one change would be that we change the names of the permit from a zoning permit to zoning certificate, and then the occupancy certificate is now going to be certificate of occupancy. And then I was asked to possibly look at updating the fee itself, which would be on page 3 of the document. Pass that around, please. Page 3. I was asked to increase it by $10 for each of them, but that's up for you guys to discuss with me and let me know what you think. Currently, we charge $20 for a principal structure permit, and we charge $10 for accessory structures. The plan would be to increase the principal structures to $30, and then the accessory structures to $20. So those would be the changes that was in the resolution. So if you would like to look at in.
It's probably been a while since those fees were,
It was 1990,
okay.
was the last time that resolution was put in place. So it's been several decades. So,
Several days.
I would need a correction to my name. It's Patterson instead of Peterson.
Go through that. So, I would need a motion from you guys to be able to, for that resolution.
They haven't seen this, have
Yeah,
It was in their documents, that, you know, little clerk,
It's,
they? Oh, okay, okay.
but I
It was
didn't
theirs,
print
yeah.
copies of
Okay,
it.
gotcha. I remember seeing it there. Okay, everybody okay with the amendments to the fee schedules?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 407B, as in boy. A resolution amending the fee schedule for charges for proceedings. Let me start over. Move to approve resolution number 407B, a resolution amending the fee schedule for charges for proceedings governed by the zoning regulations and subdivision regulations of Coffee County, Kansas.
I'd make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Yeah, I think I did.
McCurry moved, Peterson seconded. Do we have any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 4-0.
That's all I have. Thank you guys so much for your time today.
No, thank you.
I will
for
bring
your-
another copy up later of that page.
To copy, or to sign?
To sign,
Yeah,
yes.
okay,
and
gotcha.
Thank you all for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to come ask me, and we can always look at it. Like Russ said, this is a fluent document. Regulations change all the time, and so we always look at ways to help better Coffee County. Thanks, Russ.
Yes.
We'll see you, Heidi. Take care.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
See you, Russ.
Bye.
Okay. We will move on real quick to our next agenda item, which is the Mental Wellness Board. Looks like Camelia is going to represent that.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So, I also serve as the chairman of the board. I would like to give a quick update for the Coffee County Mental Wellness Board. First, we were able to send several community members and community partners to the Bridging to Resilience Conference. We're trying to make this a routine every year. We'll send them to that. Second, the big, most recent funding assistance that was approved by you guys that we provided for Crosswinds for the renovation. Their move-in dates, they're supposed to be moving in last week and full functioning in their new building in New Strawn this week. They will be holding their last med clinic at the Burlington location, and then after today, they will be fully functioning in New Strawn. And then the third funding assistance that we have offered or provided is for the advanced nurse practitioner to complete her doctorate in psychiatric. She is scheduled to complete that in next summer, so summer of 2027, and at that time we will reimburse her with $6,000. And then we have also received another funding request for the Apex Roman spectrometer, and I have Sheriff Johnson here to help present that. So this was approved through the Mental Wellness Board to present it to you guys for final approval just because of the dollar amount.
Thank you.
And
I can hopefully answer any questions you have. So what we've done is this is a device trying to keep our officers safe. You know, in today's world, when we see an unknown substance, you know, let's just say fentanyl, and there's even things worse than fentanyl right now on the street in Wichita and Topeka's both seeing it. But anyway, we have a hard time figuring out how to package things that the lab will accept. This is just another device that uses a laser, and it can tell you 24,000 compounds And so it's hands-off, you can test things, and then know what you have. It's a portable device, a little bit bigger than a cell phone, so it's easy to handle. We've asked for 2. They're expensive. They're expensive. But having 2 of those would allow us to have one here in the lab if we need one. In our sheriff's office, we have a lab, and then have one on the road at all times. I plan on putting this in my budget, but upon talking to Wade says, well, we have opioid money out there. And so we decided to approach the Wellness Committee for some of that opioid money that's coming in to Coffee County, trying to save some taxpayer dollars and not having to pay for it. So, that being said, I myself and Scott Farmer, one of my sergeants that's great on report writing and great on grants, came and talked to the Wellness Board. I did not have anything to do with any voting on it. I abstained from voting because it was my office. And so we brought it to them, and they accepted that and voted for it. So that's why we're here. Emily's the one that needs to doing everything. I'm just kind of backing her up if I can.
So would this, you say 24,000 substances, so just as an example, if you had ammonium sulfate or powdered fertilizer or whatever, it would be able to identify an item like that. It's not
over 24,000 compounds it recognizes, and it's updated continually. Part of this fee that you're paying is a constant update for 3 years, I believe. So as new products come in, new compounds are made, you're constantly updating this system. So again, we don't know what it is. We're, in today's world, it's bad to say, but when you have a pair of rubber gloves on and you're searching a car and you pick up something, you take it in and go through 14 different tests, try to figure out what it is. If it's fentanyl, folks, you don't do that today. A micrograin will kill you. And so that's why we have that hood upstairs, and why we bought that for in the new building. We're trying to use everything we can to keep our people safe and the public safe. But let's not, be around the bush here. If somebody calls us and says, hey, we got a substance here, somebody's, passed out, somebody's deceased, can we use your system? We're taking that system over there for anybody to use.
Sure.
So, luckily, because of what we have here, we have the ability to have some extra things that others don't. And if we can help another agency keep from getting somebody hurt, we're going to have to use that. Yeah.
Some would be the closest one in the area, one of the counties having this technology.
The last I knew, the Highway Patrol were trying to get them. And they may have one in Topeka, Kansas City, at Wichita. I'm not sure.
They do.
They do? Okay.
Well, I could see it'd be a huge value, it looks like to me.
I can tell you from a prosecution standpoint, one of the things that delays cases moving forward is getting, a presumptive positive without KBI analysis. I can move forward on that, but I cannot move forward until there's some sort of indication that a substance meets the threshold of probable cause to move forward. So there's instances where people have been released, and then later, months and months later, we get KBI lab results, charges are filed, and then it takes, in some instances, years to track those people down. If you can have something like this, and there are other, they're called NIC tests, where they can test, it shoots a laser through whatever it is, and then it gives you an instant indication on what it is, which from a fentanyl standpoint, if you don't think there's fentanyl in Coffee County, you're wrong, because I've charged multiple counts of fentanyl. We've had some fentanyl overdoses, we've had heroin overdoses in adjacent counties, we've had methamphetamine and probably a combination of methamphetamine and fentanyl overdoses in adjacent counties.
It's a officer safety issue, it's a public safety issue, and this is a tool to see that your first responders, whether it be law enforcement, or any other first responder, doesn't put themselves in harm's way. Originally, farmer came to me and asked me, the price tag is significant, but I'm not sure there's a price tag you can put on your first responders' safety. The municipality's Fight Addiction Fund has $40,000 in it. I know the mental wellness account has what, I don't remember what the last.
Allowable to spend 106 currently.
Will this, detect explosive materials?
I don't believe so.
Yes,
So the
Oh, does
device does, it is compatible with, it can pair with the speaker, and that is the one that, identifies explosive devices.
Say that again.
So this device, it pairs with the Seeker Pro explosive detector, so it's an additional, but it can pair with that item.
It does say it does, Tom.
Todd, why don't we make some info? You go ahead and start it.
Okay,
And then,
alright,
yeah, we'll
I'll
go.
get some C4 around somewhere.
But you'd have to get an additional detector to pair it with. Is that,
Yes,
if you're talking explosives?
it states that it combines with the Apex
You-
device.
Those, off the top of your mind, do you know what that would run?
I do not, I can,
We can look into it.
I'm just saying that what's going on in the world right now, that might, I think this is good. I'm really for it, but, you know, I
Well,
think with
Commissioner-
domestic terrorism that's going on,
I'm not arguing that one bit. I'm more than willing to, I don't know what the cost is and I don't care. If the commission's willing to help us out, the sheriff's office out in purchasing this, then I'll budget for the other part and I'll get the other part by myself.
and you say you've got money,
yes, so between the municipality's Fight Addiction Fund and the Mental Wellness Board, we do have funds to cover it.
Do you have a recommendation of how much money from each fund, or?
You're talking about handling this cost, is that correct, Amelia?
Correct.
Right.
so the 40,000 that's in the municipality's Fight Addiction Fund, I mean, you basically wipe out half of that. I think there's other projects or initiatives in the county that might better be served to use a variety of that money. I think there's gonna be a request coming up soon from
The
one of the
Yellow
schools.
Ribbon Society.
To save some of that back for
My
projects.
My opinion would be the mental wellness fund has not been utilized or used at all for anything like this, and this would be a good use of that money. That money was sort of being just moved from year to year without any use, especially once COVID hit. So I would recommend that all of it come from that fund. I think it's a perfect use of that money, and then you'll see in the coming months, I would anticipate some specific requests for a variety of different uses of the municipality's Fight Addiction Fund money. That money has to be used in a way that meets the needs of that particular fund, and we have some guidance and direction, and I think there's some specific initiatives, there's some schools that have some programs that they want to use that money for that I think are a perfect fit for it.
So take all the funds from mental wellness fund,
And that's the 098 fund.
098. Okay. I will. So is this going to it's gonna be going to the sheriff's department, is that right?
Sheriff's office, yes, sir.
this is one or two of them.
2 devices. And so the total amount,
$49,870.
even,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just the quote today.
Each 24.
Oh, okay.
So, just for the motion's sake here, the purchase is being made by the sheriff's office?
Coffee County Mental Wellness Board Fund
Mental-
098.
But we'll use those funds, but who's actually making the purchase?
So the Mental Wellness Board will make the purchase
Okay.
and will give it to the Sheriff's Department, the devices.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to take a stab at this motion. I move to authorize and direct the Mental Wellness Board to purchase 2 Apex Raymond Chemical, would be Raymond Spectrometer. I guess we have chemical identification spectrometer, purchase 2 of them for the sheriff's office, Coffee County Sheriff's Office, in the amount of $49,870. And that purchase is being made from Detectichem Incorporated, is that correct? Yes,
That's on the invoice, yeah.
Okay, purchasing it from Detectichem Incorporated with funds to come from the Mental Wellness Fund, which is Fund 098. Yeah, I made that motion. I made that. I'm curious.
And you might wanna include a provision that you're waiving the purchasing policy. I think this is, from my understanding, from what Scott Farmer told me, a single source provider who, I mean, right now they probably have hold the field until another entity catches up. So I think that probably also needs to be in the motion.
Okay. And add in there waiving waiving the county purchasing policy due to a single source provider. I'm gonna restate that motion for, make sure that. Okay, I move to authorize and direct the Mental Wellness Board to purchase 2 Apex Raymond Chemical Identification Spectrometers for the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $49,870 from Detectichem Incorporated, with funds to come from the Mental Wellness Fund, which is Fund 098, and waiving the county purchasing policy due to a single source provider.
Still second.
Okay, I made the motion, McCurry second. Any discussion?
Yeah, Tom, do you guys know what the additional kits are going to cost? It looks like they're front ends with each one we got. I mean, we have to resupply them.
I don't know what we didn't plan on that, you know, so I don't know what the cost is at all.
Can you check into that, then the price on with the explosive detection?
Yes, I can.
That's not part of it, then.
Any further discussion?
You can upgrade to it.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you, sir.
Alright. Thank you for your guys' continued support with the Mental Wellness Board. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I appreciate your time this morning.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amelia.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe we're taking a quick break.
Yes.
Is 5 minutes enough? We'll take a 5-minute break and we'll return at 10:20. Okay, it's 10:20, we're back in regular session. Next on our agenda is Economic Development Director Jenny Tamman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. I just had a couple quick updates for you guys. One of them, just to let you know, Rhonda and I have been working on the flight training scholarships for high school students. So we did get that information out to all of our school districts, to the counselors, and to principals and superintendents. We're going to be taking applications for the scholarships till April 24th. Hopefully we'll get some applicants and then be able to get a couple more kids to that program. If we do have some awards, we would be looking at Monday, May 4th to do the presentation like we did last year in front of the courthouse with you guys. So if you know any high school students that might be interested, make sure you tell them to talk to their counselors. We've got that out again, so if you needed it, Rhonda had a copy for you guys, just the letter and everything that went out, so.
And when do those applications need to be in, Jenny?
April 24th. So it's coming up in just a couple weeks. It's a quick turnaround. April always gets here very quickly, so I went and delivered all those packets last week to the schools. Other update, I wanted to let you guys know, you guys had approved the resolution and information about the Rural Housing Incentive District, RHID, for 75 75 Development Group. I did send that on to Department of Commerce. They had to kind of give their thumbs up on it, and we did hear back last week that it was approved through Governor Tolan's office. They sent us a letter. I think Mark got a copy of that as well.
Everybody should have seen it in correspondence this morning.
Okay, good. So that's moving forward. I did let Patrick Wood and Dominic from Gilmore and Bell know that that happened, and to let me know if there's next steps on that, so I'll just keep you guys posted. It sounds like that development is going to be moving forward. Like Patrick came and talked to you guys, it might not be all of the houses in the development all at once, especially because they didn't get that NIH funding, but there are still going to be some houses built out there, is the plan. So that was kind of my two things I really wanted to make sure I told you guys this morning. Another quick update, just to let you guys know, I'm continuing to have some meetings with kind of regionally, Osage County, Kansas Infrastructure Hub, Midwest Engineering. They've been working with Rural Water District 2 and Public Wholesale 12 Water District to talk about some different water projects. And there's a bunch of different kind of funding is kind of coming out right now. Federally, one of them we're looking at. I'm not sure yet. This is just kind of a discussion we're having. There's one called a Water Smart Drought Response Program that might fit for Rural Water District 2 or Public Wholesale 12. I think we have another meeting this week coming up to talk about that. So just to let you guys know, I'm getting pulled into those meetings. I may be helpful on grant writing for some of these if one of the water districts decides they want to do that project. So that's just something. I know Carl's been in those meetings too as we're continuing to have those and just looking at what kind of funding might help out some of those projects that are already being
I'm just
planned.
saying, if they want to, I thought we were trying to get some expansion done on our wholesale waters to take care of the southern part of the county. Are we still in the phase that we're thinking about it, or are we making a commitment to it?
So we know, like Public Wholesale 12, there's some improvements. They're working with Midwest Engineering. They've been meeting, having those discussions, identifying priority projects. Same with Rural Water District 2. I've talked to them. Down south, there's some transmission line improvements and water storage they're looking at. But ultimately, I guess what I mean to say is they have to decide they want to move forward with those projects. I can't just write the grant and say, hey, we're
Sure,
gonna do it.
sure. But I mean, where can we fit into, to help this project
Yeah,
move
to try to
along?
move it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
instead of waiting on them, we'd like, let's get it done.
Yeah, so that's why we've been continuing to have those meetings. Some of these where it's like, this funding opportunity come up, it's due in July, so we need to know quickly. I think we'll know in the next couple weeks if they want to pursue that funding, with Public Wholesale 12. That's kind of what I've been told they're looking for is either some, like a matching funding opportunity, or if they know kind of a industry's coming in that's gonna help. They're trying to figure out ways not to put the whole cost of the renovations they need to do on the water users. Because we know we don't want our water bills to go up 2 or 3 times, but we also know that those improvements need to happen, so.
Because these projects are in the millions, they're just.
Right, they're
Yeah.
big dollars, but
Right,
I thought when we talked earlier that we thought that there was grants out there that, it sounds like she's saying that the wholesale water districts and everything are trying to figure out to do, and I think you've got, I may not be speaking for all of us, but I think you've got our blessing to move forward with it.
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
that's
That was
that's
my
very
impression.
important, and I think that's what it's going to be once they decide. And I think they have. We know they want to do these projects. Once we have it kind of a little more ironed out, then having those letters of support from the commissioners when we're applying for funding, or once we can dig a little bit deeper, talking to the engineers, maybe there's the preliminary study and we know that's going to cost a certain amount, then we can discuss, does a little bit of it come from the county, does it come from the water district? If it touches Osage, maybe a little bit, like how do we kind of layer that to get
Right.
some of that done and then tackle these big projects? It's just going to take
Because
that.
as a group, we did all agree that we need to tackle this and piece this and find appropriate, because of the big cost that's involved with water.
Right.
Right.
Like I was at the Kansas Rural Water Association meetings last week up in Wichita, and theirs is very much about, due to the limited amount of money that's available for grant money, they're doing regionalization projects, don't depend on one grant to cover your total expenses. Jenny's done a great job of finding multiple grants, but they don't all fit what we do or what we have. So we're trying to pick out the right ones that's got the right words so we can plug in
Right.
to
That's why.
get the biggest bang for our buck.
Yeah, I wanted to let you guys know about this one, because this one does have potential to fit. We may have 2 applications for 2 different projects. It's one of them right now that is out, that's got some flexibility, as long as we could argue that there's the drought resiliency component, which water storage, water transmission, things like that.
Because 12, I mean, they've got the water supply, their facility is maxed out, isn't that correct?
Yeah,
Right.
there's plenty of water to pull off Melbourne Lake, but they just don't have a plant big enough
To
to push out to meet everyone's needs.
Right.
Right.
I mean, they're meeting it at the moment, but there's.
But any growth, whether it be industry or housing or whatever, that's where they have, I mean, that's where the water study came in too.
I also don't want to portray this, that not serving people, they're serving people and doing what they need to do for everyday function.
Right,
But if we was to keep growing into the future,
right.
Yeah,
Right, and we do have the water study now, so that's been helpful in our meetings. We can pull that, and as I'm looking for some of these grants, I can take all of that 500+ pages, pull that in, see how it matches up to some of these grant opportunities, and leverage that data to kind of start working on these. And then, like I said, working with our engineers, so Midwest Engineering, CFS, I think PEC's been in some of those projects.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it to the north, but I also don't want to forget, I know Rural Water District 2 has got some other improvement projects they're looking at, just to be able to have more people move in. If somebody wants to build a house and get a water meter, or a lot of ag use down south too. So I'm trying to balance. I know we've got multiple projects going on, and we're also looking, out at the airport, if we're going to be trying to build some industry out there. There's a few water improvements that'll have to be made there too. So
well, yeah, and if it was
looking at all of it.
someone that used a fair amount of water or something, then it's kind of a catch-22. Those industries want all these things in place, but we can't, they
Right.
can't build a new facility and everything till we've got the demand.
So it's
really
figuring
makes
out,
it
yeah.
difficult.
I've been looking at like the Kansas Certified Sites program, and seeing like what are those top tier things that industry is looking for coming in, and what are things that we can say, well, now that you are coming in, now we can now guarantee
Right.
that in 3 years we'll have that. And it is that balance, definitely. And that's the approach I take to all of this, is kind of balancing what are the, what is the need versus what is the cost, and where can we find funding. Matching
Right.
grants are great if we can find something to fund 70% of the cost for something that
Get it- Help get it
definitely-
manageable.
yeah, for sure. So I just wanted to give you guys that update. I'll have more information as we continue to work with the water districts.
Okay.
And like you said, Todd, it's something we don't want to wait too long. We
Yeah,
want
'cause
to get stuff moving forward.
it's an evil
Yes,
revolution.
but-
We got people wanting to come in, but there's no water, we don't have the water, 'cause
Right,
there's no funding,
yes.
and we just need to, I think, tackle it.
Yeah, but at the same time, especially to the north, when you're talking about a $60 million project, it's how do we do it in phases? It could be a little bit longer, but how do we start it today so we can get it done and we're not
Right.
waiting another 10 years?
Have a goal, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So that's all I had. I didn't know if you guys had any other questions for me. Alright, we'll keep working. I'll let Richard get
Sounds
to
good.
I'll be downstairs if you guys need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Carl, did you have anything for Richard?
Not for Richard, no.
No, after what she.
I mean, what she was saying?
No, it was just, I wanted to make sure that you guys were trying to piece together different grants to pay for different items.
Right.
And they're doing a great, she's doing a great job of trying to get pieces for the grants that would fit us, so we could pay for pieces to get us elevated and up the ladder. But KRWA, a lot of their meetings surrounded around regionalization, partner cities, where we're all interconnected to where we can share the resources that are there.
Thank you,
All
Carl.
right, thanks, Carl. Richard?
Greetings, trying to clean up a mess we have. So that's what this resolution's about. Where, yeah, no one in here. I've been here back in 2013, 14 years, one thing switched. Before that, there was the Patriot system, and then went to GRM, and then from GRM we went to CIC. And in that conversion process, it created a bunch of ghost bills, for lack of a better term. And so ghost taxes, I guess, that generate bill. And so people were getting taxed for things that weren't theirs. We pulled some up, and it might say Steve McCurry owes $25, and then I go into the system, and it either doesn't say anything. I mean, it's totally blank. What do you owe $25 for? I have no idea. Or it might say, oh, yeah. And then when I click on it, it says, oh, that was Wade Thompson. So why is it underneath you? It just pulled stuff from all kinds of places that made no sense. And so then within the statutes, there are two that talk about dormancy and waiving property taxes. Actually, yeah, property taxes. And so, but just due to that, the dormancy issue is basically you're taking them off of the current tax bills, which current tax status, current bill doesn't have anything to do with them. But just the other day, somebody came in and said, hey, I want to pay all my taxes. Well, they had 2 years worth. But 14, what would that be, 23 years back, there was another one that we didn't see. When you scroll down, yeah, there's nothing else to, just these two. So they wound up paying $166 for a bill they didn't owe. And so we taxed for it, and then the only reason we caught it was because when we're getting ready to pay out at distribution time, there was a tax code that's like, well, we don't even use this tax code, what's this for? And so now we have money, we don't know what to do with, so we have to refund it to them. So in the refunding, then we just pay their next tax bill. Because they paid the first one late, applied it to the second half. Anyway, it's lots of extra work. We have gone downstairs and tried to find these bills, and it might say statement number 4522. Go look up that statement, it doesn't exist. So it just created things out of nowhere.
So
we're trying to clean it up so we don't have the same thing happen to these people. I think we're from Lebo.
all the, just for clarification for everybody, all these old bills, that's over and done.
Yeah, we're not gonna collect them. The ones I'm talking about are 2013 and prior.
Right,
Oh, wow.
right.
And they're oil and gas and personal property.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
a couple
that's
trucks maybe.
done. We're not deleting anything.
Yes,
that's
there's
gonna-
no current taxes, it's just, and we're not even deleting them, we're just putting them on what'd I say?
Dormant.
Dormant position, there we go.
Okay, okay.
So we're gonna keep records of them all,
Just to clarify.
but it's just not gonna be in the current system so that if somebody comes in and says, hey, I owe money for, like, we'll still have that. But it's not gonna get paid erroneously, and then we're gonna wind up with money that we have to go back. And we've tried looking up a lot of these, and like I said, we can't find any of them. Or the ones we do find have somebody else's name, so is that even correct?
So what year did we start using CIC?
For this 2014,
So this is everything prior to CIC?
Right.
Okay.
Are you getting any help on taking these glitches out of the program?
well, no, because it was the conversion of one to the other. And so in the beginning, I assume they said, look, we owed, like in this case, it's $150-some thousand in taxes. And so we have $150,000 here. So when they made the conversion, there were people that had back taxes. But I can't tell you if what was brought over was exactly the right ones or not, because I said we can't find the statement. The real estate side, those must have been, because there are no real estate taxes that are due back then. Tax sales have all taken care of that anyway, back to 2020. So we don't owe nobody owes real estate taxes from back then. It's just all the oil, minerals, gas, trucks, personal property. That's all that's left, and that was like I said, mainly what got erroneously converted. So we're not taking any money actually away from, what the county would be.
Right.
It just doesn't, it'll show $150,000 less delinquent taxes.
That's all just trying an explanation for everybody to
Yeah.
understand that
So-
it's not something that's there that you're doing away with. It's,
Correct.
It's a,
And so I can show there's 701 lines that go with all of this. And like I said, personal property, oil, trucks, gas. I will say there's a special assessment, but most of those are all due to that paid things incorrectly. So we didn't split it in half, like it should have been $100 that you owe. Well, it said $49.99 in one half and $50.01 in the other. Well, that's gonna spit it out as incorrect. So all of those were paid. There's none of those that are actually a bill.
okay.
So again, it's all the smaller personal property, truck type stuff.
Do you think from moving on to now, you're gonna have this ghost problem again, or?
Because that system will be really done with it then.
Currently, everything just reads as it is and it just keeps it in tax. So don't convert any time in the next several years until we leave. Let somebody else have the headache. Everybody's known about this issue since it got switched over.
You're just trying to clean that up.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for Richard? So you need us to approve this resolution. I would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2026-975, a resolution to place in a dormant status delinquent taxes for years 2013 and prior due to corrupted data.
I'll move.
Second. Thompson moved, Parker seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. And yes, I have the resolution here. Okay, next on our agenda, we're almost caught up. Got Tim Johnson and Angel Cushing.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Start off with, I'm gonna get a little sidetracked.
Sidetracked.
That's not how you start.
Yeah, I'd say. I wanna go back a little bit and thank the Commissioners on the opportunity to work the Convention of States. you guys approved it. I was able to go to Topeka and work that, and, working with two good friends of mine, Angel Cushing and Bob Scrotter was already working it and had worked it real hard. And this year, just so everybody knows, it became a bill, and now if you look at the card, we are one state out of the group that the Convention of States, we are pushing for that. So, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that it passed. And two people are here today that, worked very hard on it, so. Alright, the reason I'm here in front of you today, another reason, is U.S. Bill, Senate Bill 1547. Angel Cushing reached out to me about 2 weeks ago. There is a not-for-profit that addressed a county commissioners on that bill that is pushing to get America the Beautiful passed. And looking into it and doing a little research on it, it links back to, I believe, in August of 2024, I went to a class down in Chanute, spent the morning there on conservation easements, and it seems to be linked to this. And Angel's gonna give her information on that to you guys. And the conservation easement was put on, class was put on by the Farm Service Agency, the Kansas Wildlife and Parks, and the Kansas Secretary of Ag's office. And it got my attention and some not-for-profits, and she links it really good. So thank you for this opportunity, and I'll let Angel come up and talk to you on it.
Seems like the only time I come here is to ask for a favor. I'm asking for a favor again. That's to send a letter to the members of Congress on this bill. So this is a copy of the letter. I just threw it together. If you want to make changes to it, I can email it to Angie and let you all make changes to it. So, what SB 1547 does is reallocate money to the, primarily here in Kansas, it's U.S. Fish and Wildlife, to, they say, maintain buildings. My question is the rate of return. The last round of budgets was not on building and maintenance. In fact, they closed down a lot of the building and maintenance for DEI and other type of climate change training. They are heavily concentrated on southwest Kansas and southeast Colorado and the Comanche Cimarron grasslands there. And if you look at the article that is behind that, it's got the staple in it. It was published just yesterday in Colorado. It gives an excellent example of what they do with the money. So the article that I got was from a historical preservation nonprofit, and it was talking about the Purgatory River and the expansion of Cimarron and Comanche. And so not expansion by land mass, but expansion by closing the public out of the public lands. And their reason was to save the Purgatory River. They said it needs to be historically designated a wilderness area. They said it's because of the amount of water that flows through it and the wildlife that's in it. And then you'll notice that there is a picture within that article that shows what the actual Purgatory water looks like 9 months out of the year. So they're not being honest with members of Congress. The bill also asked for $2 billion extra dollars within the budget. So we simply would like a rate of return, on investment. And here in Kansas, Tallgrass National Prairie is the main partner for the federal government. Tallgrass Prairie is not Tallgrass. Nature Conservancy, sorry. Nature Conservancy is the primary nonprofit partner with the federal government. Then if you look at their records, and you can find them on the Kansas State website, they're not a poor. company at all. And what they do, as the 15% shareholder, they're going to make a application to get grants from the federal government, where they for upfront 15%, and then the government provides the rest. And they don't tell you what it's for. They can't build on federal land, but it's going to be for their expansion to, one, on the back end, close the public out of public areas, and on the front end, create a nexus over land, private property, in order to continue to push that envelope down. So I would call, in the state of Kansas, Nature Conservancy a large land monopoly, second only to the state of Kansas in land ownership. So they don't need the money for any of their maintenance on any of their federal grants. So I'd like to send a letter from what Tim got on the phone and started calling all these members of Congress and senators, and what he discovered is they had no idea that they were sponsoring the bill. So, which is not uncommon, but they don't understand why there's a problem with it. So we'd like to send a letter to them, ask them not to support the bill, and at least give Kansas that voice that we're not going to be a target, even if it fails. Why this is important is, I don't know if you recall, a couple of years ago, there was a big push to end or to add large wastewater treatment facilities onto small packing houses all across the country. You know, 7 resolutions, just 7, from the state of Kansas killed that idea. Ron Estes got a copy of those 7 resolutions. I submitted them for comments to the EPA, and it was pulled. So no city wastewater treatment facilities on small meatpacking plants. So I'm asking you to consider the letter, and I guess I'll stand for questions if you have any. I can email it to Angie if you'd like to make changes to it. You don't have to do it individually. You can. I'd like to have it done as a county commission in whatever standard format that you prefer. Do y'all have any questions?
Is this tied into the old 30?
Yes.
30?
Yes, they're just backdooring it.
You might explain to these guys maybe a little bit what that was.
30 by 30 was the idea of locking up 30% of the United States and locking up 30% of the water into a wilderness area to save the planet, making the federal government the largest landowner in the United States. Goes with net carbon and zero and all of the good stuff.
And that stood for 30% of the land under government control by 2030.
Yes.
That's what it meant, correct?
Correct. Now, if you argue that already, if you consider CRP, if you consider the Flint Hills Wildlife Proclamation, I would argue, by my own estimates, that probably about 85% of the United States is in some form of conservation or government regulation or oversight. And so if we're running into climate problems and it's man's fault and 85% of it is controlled by the federal government, then whose fault is it? So we just would like for you to say no more to the big, expansive federal growth. Any other questions?
The chairman's supposed to be, is that Mike Lee?
Yes, and then
okay.
the second name there, Honorable,
Martin Heinrich.
yes, thank you, that is the Democrat lead. What do they call that, minority lead?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but it'll go to them as the chairman of the Natural Act. They're the ones, the bill right now is in that committee. Anything else? All right, I'll leave you all alone and let you catch up on your schedule. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Any other questions on that? Okay, move on to Road and Bridge. Superintendent Ryan Durst.
Good morning. Don't have a whole lot today. Didn't have any call-outs this weekend. We do have one motion here. We had a bid openings last week on the 2 intersections down at Leroy. We're looking to rebuild, re-asphalt down there. So we received 3 bids on that, and we would like to award that to Kilo, which is the low bid.
All right, I will move that bid received April 1st, 2026 by Kilo Construction, Ottawa, Kansas, in the amount of $88,537.50 for hot mix asphalt, which is HMA, project 82601-C, with funds to be paid from the General Fund, Public Works Special Highway Improvement Fund. Yeah, I moved. Yeah. McCurry second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? That passes 4-0.
Thank you. Just a little bit of discussion on some dust control. So the last couple of years, we've dust controlled a couple miles out west of town here, and basically those are just very high traffic volume roads and require a lot of maintenance, a lot of gravel replacement. So we started 3 years ago. We dust controlled 1 mile, found it to be very beneficial, so we added a 2nd mile to that. You know, after 3 years, it's definitely shown the benefits there. Just the amount of maintenance that's required out there, hours, and you know, where we're averaging 500 tons of rock per mile a year and up to 30 hours of maintenance per year. Since we started that, we're down to like 30 tons of gravel a year for an average, 4 hours of maintenance a year, so it's really cut down the amount of maintenance there. Would like to add a couple more miles going south of Burlington. This would be Links Road from 8th to 10th, basically connecting a couple asphalt roads that they're higher traffic, not quite as high as out there, but I think we'll definitely see similar benefits to that. Cost of dust control miles like $7,500, and I'd like to go ahead and add those 2 miles in, make a total of 4 miles.
What's the overall cost of it?
Of the dust control?
For everything, maintenance on it, getting gravel.
Well, if we were doing 500 tons a year, I mean, that's about $6,000 in gravel alone, not including hauling or machine hours, the labor. So, I mean, I don't know.
So you're saying it's going to be just cut and dried $15,000?
Yeah, for those 2
For the
miles.
dust control.
For the dust control. And, you know, we're getting ready to add gravel along that stretch anyway, new gravel, because it's time to replace gravel out there. It definitely needs it. So I just thought, well, it'd be a good time to help protect that.
So there wouldn't be additional cost, because, no, you gotta sometimes you have to put rock on before you put.
No, we do, if, like, for the public, when somebody gets dust control, especially if they're new, we make sure that there's adequate rock, you know, on the roads prior to the dust control, stuff like that, but yeah, that's.
It needs it anyhow.
It needs it anyhow, yes.
Okay.
But if you guys are okay with it, you know, we'll figure that, those 2 miles in this year.
Yeah. I'm good with it.
Sounds fine.
Well, it's just, I know this major kind of I call them connecting links into town.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic.
And there's more traffic on those roads and probably some of our asphalt roads in the county, so.
Do we need we don't need a
No,
motion for that?
just wanted your verbal approval on that, so. That's all I had.
Wow. That was
Yeah.
short and sweet.
Yeah. I'll make up for it next week.
Any further update on the up north, the property description?
So we got the rest of the surveying shots up there, added on, moved that line to the east. I don't know the exact feet, but I mean, I'll get that back. And then at the northeast corner there, we'll probably pull that south a little bit. You're talking about needing a driveway to access that property, so it looks like we can just pull that back, kind of is in line with where they've been crossing through there anyway, and it would require minimal work to make access up in there.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but, yeah, hopefully they might get that finished up this week, and I'll have something to bring back to you next week.
Okay.
What else? Bridge B2, that's the bridge on the Olivet Road, on Links Road. Had pre-construction meeting here last week, so it's supposed to start, like the 20th is the tentative date, here in a couple weeks. Get started on that, so.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Ryan?
All right, I appreciate it, guys, have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Okay, that's the agenda, except for our CP5 work session we're gonna have. So we have some public here. Tiny, do you have anything you wanted to say to the board? Just here to, haven't seen you for a while.
Thought I'd start showing up again.
Okay, good to see you. Dan, do you have anything? No. All right. Well, I also have a few things to pass around to sign. Brian brought in, maybe to do that first real quick.
We'll also have a special issue payroll correcting a few things.
Okay.
Looks like we might have an executive session.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was left on there just because it's easier to just copy it and
Yeah.
not have to look for it.
Okay.
That's the way I took it. It was just highlighted
Yeah.
as possibility.
Okay.
That's how I took it anyway. But you never know.
Depend on me to remember things. I just told her not to remember on me, depend on me to remember.
All this stuff that I've got is going to go over that.
Okay.
I'll try not to miss any.
You gotta have it, or I'll take your teeth in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take up the slack.
Thank you.
Everything,
All that stuff.
that's done there, and then this is a new one,
Okay.
this.
All right.
That should be it.
Okay.
Oh.
I didn't see any skips.
So, just give me time.
You can have that, please.
So as far as what we're doing on the CP5s, that question I had about the KPNet, we can ignore that.
Yes.
However, there will be some adjustments made, it sounds like.
That is mainly just for,
That's for budgeting.
that's for like informational purposes and, just for them to like kind of get an idea of like when the department is looking at theirs as far as like, are they gonna be within their budget and stuff like that. So you guys are gonna be mainly looking at the steps.
Which is on the second page.
Correct. Is how I understood Andrew's message. I think that just helps the department head see if they can, see what they can manage as far as their budget, come budgeting time and.
Yep. We had, last week when we were talking about the steps, I asked, well, Ryan and Tom were both in here since they are departments that have most employees. And, I asked about multiple step increases of multiple steps, which very rarely happens. And, I noticed Ryan's stuff, it's just one step, and he didn't have anything that went to Tom. I think he had some that went to because of his job description.
They changed it.
Well,
the job.
yeah, let me back up too. They also asked him about, if you had an employee that you hired within, say, 6 months, and a lot of times they would not give them a step increase until they had passed that 6-month period. Although I've noticed going through some of these where there's even some employees that were hired within 2 months in some departments that were getting step increases. So, I don't know what do we, as far as going through this, I mean, if we have any questions about things like that, I mean, we just call the department heads.
I thought we were going to have somebody, or people that did the study
Well,
to this.
well, we are back, but we're not, I thought we were talking specifically about the sheriff as far as that goes.
I thought we were gonna do all of them, because we were starting to go off this way with it, where we don't know what's going on.
You mean as far as?
The study to look at for everyone.
As far as multiple step increases, but if everybody.
Multiple, and then every time we're turning around, we're having somebody asking for raises and those kind of things. And I thought we were just gonna look at it for everybody and everything to see where we need to be.
I guess my question is, for all the employees that are getting just one step increase, which was planned, are we okay with that?
That's the way it's set up for April.
Well, that's what I was thinking, but if anything's more than one step,
I figured.
Do we call the department heads in and say, hey,
What's the reason?
What's the thought?
what's the reason, why on this? Do we just limit it to one, or? And the first thing that stands out to me is we just, from the appraiser's office, we gave two grade changes on that, and a month later, that's why I brought up the, you know, when somebody's given a promotion, there's a new hire within 3 to 6 months. Usually they don't get a step increase. And
Until after the 6
departments
months, until after the 6 months.
Right.
Correct?
And to me, that would be the same thing here.
I just think as we look at these with multiple steps, instead of just rubber stamping it, we need to think about, they got raises with going to the 15th step. They got a COLA. We had people come in and ask for raises. We just found out the other day that from Tom, we're gonna have to pay for a bond issue ourselves, because we're not gonna have the income from the jail. That's $1 million. Plus, we've got, the hospital's asking for more money. And then, we're getting beat up on taxes that people are getting, and just to rubber stamp raises and things like that. I don't feel good doing that. And I think we need to take a long, hard look at that, especially with, we're going to get hit with $1 million there, or whatever. I don't know what the exact term is for the bond issue.
Right.
But, we're gonna have to come up with money with that, and who knows what the repairs of the hospital are gonna be. On top of that, how much people's taxes are going to increase.
I was thinking, did Connie say that it was gonna be way less this year, and I don't recall the exact figure, but
I think it was just like 3 or 4%, but
Yeah.
it's still, after the monstrous jump last year.
Well, the previous 2 years.
Yes, yeah.
So, what we're doing right now is just, we're not doing anything abnormal right now, Todd, for this.
For this year,
For
no,
this year.
but we're looking at next year.
Right.
So, I mean, so what's your thoughts? I mean, if everybody's taking their one step.
One step, I understand, that's what they're entitled to.
That's what we've got set up. You're good with that, right?
But, you know,
I'm just.
There's some
asking,
department things in there that are just, I think are way off the board that are asking for. And, go ahead.
Well, I've got one specific.
Yeah.
It's on the appraiser side.
Yes.
I don't agree with, I don't agree with that number.
And I'm with you on that too.
I think that's, going back to COLA, it was 2.7. So on this particular thing, it would have been like $2,200 or $2,300 increase at that time. And to ask for this much more, I'm not.
The majority of department heads through this entire thing didn't ask for anything.
That's my point. That's my point. And I don't agree with that.
I don't think there was one elected official that asked for anything.
There was, unless I missed something.
There was, we had a letter that was passed around about our sheriff last week. But then on top of that, though, total money, he gets to like, that's $7,800. His undersheriff's not making total money, more than he is.
I mean, I was just gonna.
And I don't know what intended delay.
I mean, that I just talked about, that's what jumped out with me, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I've got marks on that.
The rest of them, as far as their steps are involved, I'm not, the one-step thing, I'm good with.
I'm good with that.
Just because that's the way it's set up. And if somebody didn't get a step, and that had to do with, the department head not thinking to do that.
That they didn't earn it, or
they didn't
whatever,
earn
that
it.
they were having some problems or something.
Right, and I didn't
Is
see
that correct?
anything there, but I'm just saying that that's up to the department head to determine, whether that individual gets that step, based on their work ethic and everything.
Yeah, so have you seen this letter?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, I had not, I don't know how I missed it or whatever.
I think you were at your appointment when that got.
Oh,
passed
okay,
around.
okay.
I think,
All right, thank you.
I remember.
Yeah.
So, but this figure doesn't include the extra pay for the lake for the
No.
lake, is that correct?
But this figure
That's,
in here
that's
does.
the base sheriff
Yeah,
pay.
right here. It's 90. Okay.
Right. Right.
So, what did you add to this a little while ago?
Solid waste, Ryan brought in an updated one. They had I believe it was one of their part-time employees had the wrong figure in there. So he brought in an updated one, so I updated your solid waste one at the back of your tab 12. It would be with your highway, the last, page on there.
Do that have anything highlighted
I don't know. I can show you what the original one was. The only change.
I was just looking at.
Yeah, the only change on it was they had that he was making $1,890 and he's actually $16.25. So really the amount goes down for Caden. And the first page showed that it was $37.80 for him. There wasn't a huge change on it. It was just for that part-time hourly amount.
So we.
Oh, Judy.
So I was good for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So when there's a concern on something like this, what happens?
But there was
Was it
nothing.
both of them?
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just.
I should be more versed as long as I've been on here.
Well, me too, but.
So what do we do?
I'm sorry,
Like on, the concern on this, on the appraiser side,
Yeah.
what happens,
What's our course of action?
what's our course of
I'd
action?
say we should be able to deny it.
I guess that's what I'm asking, can we just deny that?
Because we already granted
Yes.
the grade change.
I can call Angie real quick and ask her.
Yeah, might ask her and then y'all move on.
Because that would
The other
be,
one.
that would be 2 employees.
Yeah, everything else went fine.
Right.
It was just one step on everything else, it's just that.
It was just number right there.
Yeah, but
I
there's
was concerned about.
another one.
Yeah, I was concerned on
I'm more concerned about the
Salary side.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Because
I mean, I don't know how that step change, how that, what we already did, how that would compare to a step for those 2 employees. That wasn't what I was most concerned about.
no,
Okay,
I mean, not saying we shouldn't be, but
so Angie said you guys would just, send it back to the department head with what changes you want to be made and tell them to change it however you want it changed, and they send a corrected one. So you can deny it and have them correct it.
And you're saying that top figure, we have not made any decision on,
that's correct, I mean,
On CP2
is that what it is, CP2?
yes.
or CP4U.
CP4U.
Okay,
Didn't we get one there last year in the fall,
to that person.
that person?
No, it was requested,
But it was a lot more than what we granted.
we didn't grant. I don't
That was
think-
the second time.
I should have called that.
I can look in the minute.
Can you?
Yeah, I can pull it up. in
Because
the
I think
minute and see.
I think there was a request and no action. Okay.
I don't remember.
I don't.
A week's passed.
I don't remember any action.
I don't-
could be wrong.
I don't remember any
I thought
action on that. I
there was-
remember the request, but I'm not sure that we ever,
I don't know.
For some reason, I thought we gave a
And you
little,
can-
and then I thought there was another request, but I may be wrong too. Steve,
yeah,
it's just an ongoing,
I just compare that to some of the others, and I think that number is right. I think the original, I think her number, based upon, after the 2.7 COLA, that's a pretty good number then. And that goes back to the salary study. I think on stuff like that, I certainly think we need to wait on a salary study to see where we are.
I agree.
I totally
No.
agree. Because for what, they're making excellent money for 40 hours. There's many people in this county would love to have this position.
Sure, and I don't begrudge that salary that they're making right now. I don't mean that at all, because I think our people,
Well, they do have some skills that they've acquired from their
Exactly.
experience.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yes.
You know, that a person coming in off the street would be hard to replace.
oh,
them,
heavens,
but
yes, I'm not.
No,
yes.
but, you know,
there's
I
got to
just-
be,
There's gotta be a balance.
there's got to be a balance and a stopping point. I shouldn't say a stopping point. There's got to be checks and balances, and
That's
when
right.
the salary study comes in,
And it may go the other direction too, the salary study.
it very well may, but the salary study is going to tell us a lot, I think.
I'd rather wait till then to do some things like that.
Talking about on CP4U,
Yes,
all those
yes,
salaries, wait on salary study
yes.
before we make any adjustments.
Yes, because otherwise, it was 5 or 6 years ago when the last salary study was done, I think, we weren't on there, but,
Right.
so, things have changed a lot in the last 5 years, obviously. So until we know and I'm not saying it's going to be a perfect thing by any means, but until we get an idea of where we are,
Pretty accurate guideline.
No, it's a guideline, is what it
Around
is.
the
Right.
thing.
Anyway, that's,
Okay, so we'll need to send the appraisers back.
Okay, I'll make a list.
And we need, Angie said we need to let them know what it, you know, obviously what it is we wanna see different.
Yeah, and I can, if you will tell me, I can highlight in this what changes.
Well, first of all, let me find my sheet here. No step increase there
Okay,
because that grade changed.
okay.
And then there's concern about that change.
And that, you don't want anything up there?
Well, that's on the CP4U, and we're not taking any action on
On
it.
that yet, okay.
that's correct.
So it
That needs to be,
should not show up on this sheet.
I'm sorry, I'm off.
What do you call them, CP4U?
CP4U is gonna be your.
Salary for exempt and elected.
It should be on
Okay,
tab
I see.
one.
Okay.
Elected
Okay.
officials and department heads.
Okay, all right, I didn't recognize it.
I don't have anything in that part, so. I guess that's the way to refer to that. It's basically department heads and elected officials.
Right.
Oh, it's
Okay.
just that list,
And so,
I believe, right?
That's the way I read it.
That's the
Okay, we have that one.
I didn't know.
You ready
I'm
to
sorry.
do?
sorry, I want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, the clerk,
That's the next one, is it?
yeah, I did not mark it, I didn't have any concerns on that. You have any?
I didn't have any concerns on that.
Commission, that's unchanged.
I got just no, I'm kidding.
Nope.
No raise.
Economic development. I don't believe I had any concerns there either. Anybody have anything, Mark?
Nope.
Election. Believe everything looked okay to me there. Anybody?
Did you then?
Okay, emergency management. I think I did have one thing there. There's another one where I see a step increase for somebody hired, like recent hire.
It'd be in that
Yes.
last
I'm on that, that needs to wait another year. Yeah.
Or-
That's a recent hire.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then there's a 6 month, there's a 6 month,
There's
It's
a,
just on the.
period.
on the-
Yeah.
And then at the end of
yeah, I
6
think
months,
there probably should not be a step increase. Hold it. Yeah.
Do you wanna go on hers too?
oh, how
that-
recent, how recent?
So that's a good catch. I never saw that.
Cause they were,
That's right, that was just, see, January, February, March.
Yes, there's,
Oh, yeah.
there's
Yeah.
two there.
Two.
Yeah.
Try to go back.
No, I wasn't even.
That was still not good. This one. Yeah, so, yeah, that got just two.
Right.
Okay.
Because at the end of 6 months is probation period.
Mhm.
So at the end of 6 months is the end of their probation period.
Right.
So that's when that should be enacted, not now.
Right.
Isn't that correct?
That's.
And
my
then, while we're talking that, all these that they came in with, transfers, just like the one Tom did this morning, I don't think they should, I think whatever they were set at now, that's where they should be.
Oh, yeah. I would assume that that's the way it's.
I would think, and I think we need to make sure that you understand what I'm getting at.
like not him
Bumping
step
him
again,
again.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Cause there'd be a lot
You're
of
talking about
sheriffs.
the new people are
They
going from
changed to a new
position
job.
to another one, or they got a grade.
Yeah.
I don't think he would, I don't think he would.
And the way I understood him to say was that, I think did we question that last week or?
So you say no to those two?
Okay, so next step.
Thank you, Casey.
And health, environmental health. Okay, I know there's a letter that went along with this. But there again, I would like to, on the study, wait for the study before multiples are given. And the change to me seems to be out of line with what I saw in other ones. But that may be the way they are, so. So basically it's all of them. I would say limit to one step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it can be brought up during the,
This was under environmental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
then we can bring it up during, salary study.
If you want all of them to be limited to one step.
Yeah.
Okay.
You making a note there, cause we're gonna have to make sure we inform all of them too.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my list here.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Did anybody have anything else on health?
Just one step, so we're all three of them.
Yeah.
Of course, it
Well,
get the attention.
yeah.
It would be better if we just did it this way, one step and then.
Yeah, and then
address it.
That's the way we've done it in the past, is split through them
Yeah.
one card at a time, I thought.
Yeah, that, a little bit on health and the request in the letter or whatever, I mean, bring that up during the salary study, the increase or whatever. Okay, highway department. I'm sure there's been some additions to that one that we need to look for so we don't bump them, or there's a 6-month probation period there. Yeah, well, I looked at the dates on all of those. Okay. There was, I saw one, and he held them. He held it. He did not give them a step increase.
Yep. So you think we're okay then?
I think so. And then I think that on the department heads, that needs to be looked at with the study, or the salary study also. Increases department heads. Which I would assume they would go through that anyway. You talking about at the top? Yeah. Is that what? Yeah.
But they did just, the one just moved in one step, right?
Yeah, right.
We didn't go more than one step, you're just gonna look at them with the study, okay.
Yep, gotcha.
So highway's good?
Highway's good.
Just that one highway page?
Yeah.
Okay.
Special bridge, I had no issues there. Solid waste, I believe that was fine also. New hire there, health study, there was no step increase there, so. Jail.
What number is that?
13. Yeah, 13.
Here's one that I would like them to use the same forms everybody else does. So just flipping through all of them is so much easier than all of a sudden you got a new farm, you're trying to flip back and forth and look at.
You're talking about just the fact that it's on portrait instead of landscape?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Different format, yeah.
Yeah, if they would've just printed it landscape, it would've been fine, yeah. I think. Anyway, I saw there were 2 issues there that I had. One jumped 2 steps and another jumped a grade, and to be honest, I cannot remember if that was in the job descriptions they gave us or not. It's these 2 here. That one, that was a grade change there, and then this jumped 2 steps.
I'm not sure.
You see what I'm talking about? Probably almost 2/3 the way down, there's a step change from 30-2 to 30-4. And then about 3 lines below that, there's a grade change from 30-3 to 35-2.
Yeah.
Is that something we approved already, or is that?
Well,
I don't
I don't think so. Because I don't have it in the payroll system already.
That was
And I think if I did, it would be,
a recent hire,
On that one, if you look down at the bottom, it says vacant corrections and vacant central, right? There's nobody employed there, but then they're getting raises in those positions. Good point. If it's vacant.
one of those
Did
is,
you make note of that too?
vacant one.
and it appears to be the lowest rate per hour.
Even though they're vacant, they're showing step change.
Say that position's not filled, so.
Get me, ask them to correct those
Yeah,
two.
both
Yeah.
of those are vacant. Positions, I think.
Yep. I think I saw that somewhere else too. I mean, I've seen vacant positions, but I didn't notice a step change.
Didn't either, I just thought they were.
You guys still on jail, or are you ready to move on to the lake? Lake, I had there's one that jumped 2 steps.
Okay, then, what is these are temporary or part-time positions, right?
Right.
When do they
On the lake,
consider that to be shut down? Because looking at the hiring date on that one, that would have been towards the end of the season.
As far as how long they would have worked.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mean?
but-
Yeah, yeah. Cause that was August 22nd.
Yeah, that'd be beyond the 6 months, I think, so.
Yeah.
If the lake is shut down in September, or when, I mean, they're not.
They haven't worked 6 months.
They don't really shut the lake down, I don't think,
So,
unless
these-
it's,
They're out there on.
they're out there.
Okay, I can see that. I thought they shut the lake down.
I think it's a requirement with the arrangement with Wolf Creek that it's staffed at all times.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well,
Now the lake could close for a day or two depending on windy conditions or weather.
Sure, sure.
Because that lake doesn't freeze over because
Right.
so it's potentially able to house.
It's heated.
Yeah.
it's heated.
One thing they have is, if it's too windy, you can capsize or whatever, so.
Yeah, I'm not seeing his name in the minutes, so that could be his 6 months,
That'd be the reason for going 2 steps, you mean?
possibly if he didn't get his 6
Oh,
months and
I
then.
see. Yeah, because that would have been done,
And, I mean, that's fine if that's the reason.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can get these sent to these departments, and then if they need to come in on Monday and tell you why they had moved them, I mean, they will
That'd
still
be
have
great.
time on Monday to make those adjustments if you guys need to.
So that's the only one, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, noxious weed. I don't think I had any issues on noxious weed. Get it fine. Planning and zoning. I don't think I had any issue there. Looks like she's maxed out.
Yeah.
Recycling. On my sheet, there's no proposed steps on any of those. Just list the current step.
That's what mine has.
Yours is like that too?
Yeah.
Oops.
Wonder,
Well,
But one's got an increase.
one's got
Yeah.
an increase,
They just didn't list the step.
so that would have been,
He has one that was hired within 6 months, probably within 4 months.
yeah.
So basically, that needs the proposed step increases listed, so.
Yeah, it's just not showing.
It's
the-
just not
the
showing.
step on that first one.
on the
right?
first one. There's a higher
Should
on
be
that,
a 40-11.
4011.
And then the others,
Well, the one is,
there's no step increase on them.
that's correct, on that one,
Might double check with them and make sure, I guess, so.
this guy right here
February
is,
of last year.
he's
Oh.
working,
Okay. I think I know what you're saying.
okay, fine, yeah.
Okay. Register of Deeds. There is a two-step increase there, which need to limit that to one, and then if we go more than that, is bring it up with the.
Yeah.
Sheriff. Okay, I had a whole lot marked on there. I know there's some of these that are in limbo because of the job description thing.
Yeah.
I show 4 of them going from grade 35 to grade 40.
That's what I'm saying,
That
but I can't remember.
looks like they're all dispatchers.
We had several changes, didn't we?
I think we,
That he brought in there to us
Yes.
at one time.
I was trying to remember specifically what that was. I mean, even though they changed the grade, I mean, it was adjusted to where, I mean, the increase in pay is in line with everything else.
There's what,
But I can't remember.
there's 5 of them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's what I've got. Well, there's 4 that appear to be dispatchers to me,
And
and
then
then,
below that, there's 2 more.
then there's 2 more that are,
From 40-7 to 45-5, and 40-5 to 45-4. Oh, those are the ones, Mark, that you.
yes.
Okay.
I guess the
And I think,
best explanation for those is probably we need a refresher why.
Yeah, right.
on the one, I can remember, you know, we do.
It seems like there's a couple of them there, there's good reason why. And like I said, dollar amounts, they're not out of line or anything, so, that I can see.
Right.
So is there any difference between these two CP5 pages that we need to be concerned about? On the sheriff's department? I have 2 of them.
Yeah, I think I drew.
One was the update after they had submitted one with the
Okay.
numbers before, that was including, the employees,
Yeah.
Which one's
that
the
was-
good one?
I don't know, I marked them with an X, the ones that.
here, I
you
can
got.
probably
You
look
might not
at
have
it.
been here.
I didn't get.
Oh,
Vacant.
I can tell the difference here.
Different color highlighter. It's trash.
Yeah,
So that was-
there's a different
yeah.
date here at the bottom.
Okay.
So that was if you guys had passed the job description,
I've worked on the.
they had moved up some of those employees.
Yeah, and there's also 2 vacant positions. listed that also increased one step. Maybe I'm looking at that wrong, but I don't understand why I'm taking a position with
With your
increased
step.
step.
Don't need to highlight anything up top.
Well, I mean, I made a note just because of the letter that went around last week. However, by the time you add the late pay, it does make it more. But to me, that'd be something for the salary study.
Salary study.
Yeah, and to be looked at when they're hired,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Well, at the top, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, the ones at the top. Oh.
Yeah, the. And we're almost done. Technology. I believe that was okay there. Set. The hours per year there, it says 2050, shouldn't that be 28?
Should be 20 years, shouldn't it? Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's a concern or not.
Good catch there, you Yeah, I'm sure it's just.
Treasurer. I don't think I have any concerns there. Except he does have one employee maxed out. That's it, isn't it? Burton, hate that.
Hey, back on the sheriff's, there were two different, they were, which one was?
Yeah, I think, on them pages?
Yeah, on the pages.
Well, the only thing I could see was down here at the bottom, it says revised 3/30/26, and the ones I threw away, I think.
Oh,
That one you should keep, it's there on top.
Yeah.
okay.
That's the good one, I think.
Yeah.
The revised 3/30/26. I had two.
I kept the old one, but I didn't.
These others say 3/20.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
And then there's another one also on the other one that has two.
Right, okay. I just didn't look down
I
at
thought
the
that
bottom.
was right anyhow, that's
No,
what
you're
I
right,
threw
you're right.
away.
I just didn't look at the bottom.
So, the only one we are missing, the only department is the attorney
And,
and counselor,
and janitor and maintenance.
janitor, maintenance.
That's all.
Okay.
And those come through,
The same guy.
Yep. So I will get these, sent to those departments, and I'll see if they can make their changes, and then get them submitted back to you guys, and if they have any, rebuttals or
Concerns.
anything, yep,
Yeah.
to come in on Monday.
Yeah.
Because really, next Monday is,
You need to have them done.
yes, I need to have them done by Monday, so, and then I can get them changed in time for
Okay.
payroll, so.
Okay, did we lose, Wade?
Must have.
It would appear that way. I think he's having a busy morning.
Yeah.
I guess we can start roundtable then. Casey, do you have anything?
I know Angie is working on, getting the pool up and running, up at the north property. So I know she was making some calls about that last week, so.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't
Steve?
No, sir, I'm not, I don't.
Will mentioned that, last week, Steve and myself were planning to go to the hospital board meeting, but we got to the hospital and there were no cars
No cars.
anywhere.
Everybody was well.
So you didn't go to a meeting, huh?
Well, I called Mark, I said, is there a meeting tonight, or is mine, he said, well, he said, I don't see any cars, well, I was headed out to the meadows to see if maybe they were headed out there, but anyway.
Then we looked on there, I missed the previous meeting because I was in Leroy. And found out that they were having their board retreat last Monday. And it said they were having the board meeting as part of the board retreat. So still don't know when or whatever, or when or where the board retreat
Other
was.
than that, you missed it.
Other than we missed it, it was a nice evening drive.
So, anyway, wait, do you have anything?
I mentioned last week this letter about National Flood Insurance, but I wanted to wait till Wade and Angie were here, that they know more about it. So just something, I'm keeping it here in my drawer. I want to try
Is
not
that
to
something
forget.
Heidi would know about? also?
Possibly, yeah.
You might check with her also.
Okay, okay.
I think
That'd be a good
Had to
thought.
go through,
I mean, it actually came to the chairman, but it has my name. You know, I'm
Go, take care of it, by all means.
That's all I have.
Saturday, I went to breakfast at Vito. Wade attended, Tom Johnson, Brad Barrett, our friend was there, Carl Lee, and a lady from Osage County were there, and we were talking about the Beulah application. And they shared some good ideas, and I shared with you the other day that KAC reached out to me wanting to help us in any way they can, because they thought it was something that was statewide.
Yeah.
Just because a couple of bad apples, and it was a productive talk, and got some ideas, and everybody shared with each other.
Good.
So, they're gonna have another meeting with KDHE that's coming up, and I don't remember the date on there. I got there and they were talking about it, but they're supposed to be sending out an invite to it. And,
Yeah,
it lasted 2.5 hours, so.
We should handle it a little bit better. I'd be more supportive of it.
I think we're getting more and more support from everywhere, and I didn't know this situation had been going on this long. Osage County's been fighting it since 14. Really? And they're finding physical waste in the food, such as plastic, metal.
You're talking about the problems that we're having in the county right now. Right.
But this stuff is what they're finding in Osage
Right,
County
right.
when they've done it so.
Right.
So, we're done with that, I think.
That letter that Angel, I mean, is that something we're interested in?
I think we read through that. I know I've been through the Cimarron Grasslands a bunch doing work out there. That's an awful lot of money and restricting an area to people out there that don't have anywhere else to go. And I think it's a land grab.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel with the federal government. And I think we should support something like that. I mean, I don't know if we could have much weight or bearing on it, but one more letters to the Fed could help in some way. This is a waste of money.
If we do support a letter, I mean, we probably need to retype it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about mine.
Need to look tuning, possibly.
Oh, I think it's supposed to be one.
Yep.
Had to go on a mission to find some numbers from last year, which is what.
Okay, so we have three sheets, is that right?
Three
Okay.
sheets.
One on Jan-
Front and back.
So we're on janitorial.
you'll see one, and I'll go ahead and tell you, tried to explain when it says date and step IIP plus, that's my description. They are due, they hit their 6 months on 4/10. So next week, you'll see a request to bump them up from 2 to 3, and then they'd be eligible
For
for
the step.
the step, and that's
So that's explanation for the two-step.
correct.
And that's probably the case on a few of these other ones we looked at, but
Yeah.
we didn't know for
We didn't
sure.
know for
Yeah,
sure.
that's how we've been operating.
Good explanations.
And then you'll see on the very two at the top there, I put max, because they're at the max level.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. We wanna go to county attorney next? Yep.
I think everybody should just be a step.
Right.
The others are in there, you'll see legal intern and intern, those, I mean, they're a range, they may or may not be anything that materializes. But I put it in there just so you can see, and those are, so for an intern, that's not in law school, their range is the same as someone who's out mowing grass for the summer. So step 1 through 5 of
Okay.
category 5. And then if they're a legal intern, which means they're actively in law school, if they have their temporary license, they're a legal intern 2. If they're prior to that, they're a 1. So
Depending on where they are within that.
So is a 1 in the grade 35, and then
Yes.
legal 2 is grade 45?
correct.
Okay. Problem with that. County counselor, everybody ready to look at that?
Okay. Looks like no change.
Questions on that?
Yep. Thank you, Willie.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Danny.
sorry, I didn't have it to you sooner. I feel like I have to relearn this every year.
Now, as far as the McGrath, have you had a chance to reach out to them?
Take one, pass it around.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I meant to touch base with you Friday.
Yeah.
I figured you probably would.
What I just handed out, is a proposal from McGrath. If you remember, McGrath was the company that did the original salary study. You can have mine.
Oh, I don't need one.
Originally, they had prepared a quote. I contacted Victoria McGrath, who is the CEO, owner of the company, and indicated the original quote I thought was high, and the original quote, this quote and the original quote is less than what it was originally. So this quote is for, if you're okay with me, go ahead and just saying it, is $15,000.
Yeah.
And that's for a market refresh. You'll see on page,
We've been referring to it as a salary study here, but it's not really a full-blown salary study, is it?
So,
It's just an update.
it's an update, but they've already got the information that they need.
you'll see on page 6, it has the 12-week schedule. That's the scheduled timeline. And on page 4, county is seeking to update the current compensation system, which was created in 2020. Market update will include an external market analysis to identify the competitive market, salary range adjustment recommendations to align to that market, which may include position pay grade changes and costs for implementation. And then on the next page, it goes through the methodology and approach. It's very similar to what occurred initially.
Yeah. They're stating though that they don't view it just as an update, that they're approach the project with the same objective in a non-biased manner as a new client, to trying to iterate that they're gonna be thorough, I guess.
Yeah.
So the current board was not in place when the initial salary compensation study came to light. Just maybe as a refresh, an RFP was created. It was sent to 5 different professionals who are subject matter experts in that particular area. The board at that time narrowed it down to, if my memory serves me correctly, 3. 3 came in, did presentations. I believe one was from Ohio, if I remember right. I can get you the names if you want them. One was from South Carolina, and then McGrath was local. McGrath had, at that time, had recently completed a compensation study for Reno County. I had reached out to Reno County at that time, and they provided me some information. Ultimately, the board elected to go with McGrath based on their credentials, their body of work, and then the pricing at the time. I don't remember the timeline, how long it took. It seemed like it took forever. It took quite a while. But it was going from a completely different compensation system to something new, and then going through the point factoring. I think what took, if I remember right, the longest time was sending out the request for the data for the market from all of the comparables, and then taking that data and plugging it into whatever their system is, and then it took a while. So they've identified a relatively short timeline compared to what it took the first time. So that's kind of where we are. And I was able, when I spoke with Dr. McGrath, to have her reduce the fee from what my understanding was the original fee was, because I had a quote from October. So.
So, we need a motion to proceed with, I mean, I think we all wanna move forward as quickly as possible.
Yep.
And it looked like it was gonna take 12 weeks.
Yeah.
You're right.
We can get started.
Yeah.
You don't see any problem with that, Wade, do you? I mean, just go ahead.
Unless you wanted to wait for Avondrops to be here.
I think do we need a motion to fulfill that, or?
Yeah, you need a motion to accept the proposal for a compensation system market update from McGrath, dated April 2nd, 2026.
Which is what? What date?
Yeah, what was the date again?
April 2nd, I'm just reading off.
Oh, April 2nd.
April 2nd, 2026.
Steve McGrath, Human Resources. That's the amount of $15,000.
And the only thing that it looks like would be outside of the proposal amount would be travel costs, and I don't know if any travel costs will be needed, but it probably needs to be stated in the motion.
I didn't see where they are, which.
They're out of, well, I'm not sure where the people, they've got multiple office locations. The closest one is Columbia, Missouri.
And the amount of $15,000.
Yes.
Not including any, in-person travel costs that may be necessary.
If maybe necessary, or if needed.
Or if needed. And then, if you look at on page 7, the fee structure, $3,000 is due upon completing the signed contract, so there'll be a contract that will be submitted, probably sent to me to present to you, and then once that's approved.
So the compensation mark.
On the travel expenses, so the 4,500 is the top dollar, I mean, that's not, because it says plus actual travel expenses, so
Should I put
that's
70?
a 4,500. I mean, that's,
Travel expenses, if you look directly above that, travel costs will be billed separately,
oh, okay,
because they're saying in-person site visits may not be necessary.
okay,
Yeah, the 45.
I was just looking at the number. Wait.
Yeah, the 4,500
Yeah.
is the balance of the 15.
Okay, okay.
I think that's right.
Oh, it is,
Yeah,
it is
10.5.
plus actual, okay.
3, 7, 10, 5.
I'm a little slow.
And then both above that, the fees listed include all consulting, professional fees, administrative costs, excluding travel. So,
Do we need to include in the motion for approximately 70 job titles? That's what that 15,000 is. Compensation market update for approximately 70 job titles.
it probably wouldn't hurt, because that's what the proposal's for.
We have everything covered?
One other question I've asked you for a while, have we ever figured out when the Baylor electricity on that building?
I've got all the answers today.
You want to get breakfast set?
Just put us on hold to get all these.
Let's wrap up this motion real quick. Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot about that. We've been so long trying to decide what to do with it.
You can't wait to get out of here. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept the proposal for a compensation market update for approximately 70 job titles from McGrath Human Resources, dated April 2nd, 2026, in the amount of $15,000, not including any in-person travel costs if needed.
Go ahead. I'll second
Do you
it.
have, I was thinking, wait.
For your discussion, I'm not sure it might be important to have something in there that references that they were the ones who completed the original, study. And that's why they're being chosen as their, I don't know how you wanna word that, but.
That sounds good, like a good idea.
They have all the raw data and the work product already. So,
Their original project was in 2020, right? And from there.
and it should reference it. Original project included in 2020.
Yeah.
So it's an update of the original project. Sorry, I should have mentioned that to begin with.
Okay, original salary study project should be 2020 document. Okay, so Barker moved,
I second it.
Thompson seconded. Any further discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 4-0. Yeah, do we have anything else?
One of the requests that had been made was in reference to the shop out at the north property, and somehow inadvertently that power bill was separate from the house, and it ended up remaining in the county's name. So with your permission, I have that total amount. There's also a deposit that's tied to that particular property for the renter. There will be, it basically clears each other out, and if that's, I just need to know from an auditing standpoint what their preference is, if that refund needs to go to them and then they need to reimburse the county for a paper trail. That's what I'm trying to sort out, but these are all the documents. I had requested copies, so I had something to sort of back it up, and if we needed to have a paper trail. It was listed as, on the power bills, as the Old Highway 50 shop, so.
So the deposit versus the bill wipe each other out, is that correct?
Close.
Or
There'll
close, yes.
still be money owed to them.
Right,
But it won't be.
Were they contacted about all that?
Not yet. I just got that Friday. I've been chipping away at a list of several things that have been requested, so that's. The other part of that list is, the pool, have it set up to be opened on April 17th, which is the earliest they could open it. This is, and it will, they know and understand that will only be until the property is sold and in somebody else's hands. So that's the quote for pool maintenance. And then there's another quote or estimate to, actually that's the maintenance, the bi-weekly maintenance, I apologize. This is for opening. This also includes the replacement of a pump of some sort, and I don't know, I know pools are expensive, is all I know. So if a pump goes out, there's a pump that had been indicated that was a problem and will probably need to be replaced, and the installation of that pump. And then this also includes the opening, cleaning, and vacuuming the pool, and then treating the pool at opening. And that's that quote, so.
What was that one for again?
That's for the
Bi-weekly.
bi-weekly,
Okay.
going and testing and changing the chemicals.
Oh.
That's why I've always said the best kind of pool to have is a friend with a pool.
Is a friend with a pool?
Yeah.
I do have something, just a question on the mowing.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Has there,
We're working on that.
okay, all right.
I think we'll have a answer, hopefully, by the time it needs to be cut.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's at my yard for the 4th time tomorrow night, so.
Overachiever.
I fertilize mine every year and I went, at the end of the summer.
Steve, I told my son, you drive in my yard and fertilize the spreader, you're in trouble.
Did this song come into the $15 deposit?
That's right, you are kicked out of the will, boy.
Was there an end year put on that?
If there's anything left, I mean, I'm not sure.
Because when you do a home, it's not like that much for a deposit.
That was the deposit for the rental, for that agreement.
To us, you mean?
Yeah.
On the house rental, not anything to do with.
No, not that, not the power.
Does that make sense now?
Yeah. So then, that amount of money is owed to us.
Yep.
Or you're saying they owe us another month's rent? Oh, you're talking about
His deposit
the
to us.
deposit on the property. Okay, I got you,
Yeah.
I got
For
you.
And that was-
damages or
Sure,
anything
was
like that.
that
Okay.
1,500 or
I
something?
thought you
or what
meant
was it?
deposit.
No, sorry.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. In my head it made sense.
Like, whoa, wait a minute.
Okay. What else do I have on my
Did you have something else for us, Wade?
He's digging.
I was gonna check with, I'll have to ask Avendroth when I see him about one other issue. Power bill, pool maintenance, I've got now in contact with 3 commercial or appraisers. They've all, tentatively agreed to, perform the appraisals for that property.
Okay.
I have a copy of the property description. I think they want the actual legal description itself, so I'll get that, but.
Ryan indicated we should have that Monday,
Okay.
next Monday.
One of them's not available until the middle to the end of April, which I think is an issue. The others can go out and get it done, and then once that's done, can sort of work on who you want to sell it, and then I'll have to plug all this information into a notice that will have to go out. But you gotta establish what the appraised value is first, so. I'm told the names that I've been provided, they've been around doing it for quite a while, they're experienced, and, they're not all just local in the area, there's one from Franklin County. So, I hope that's okay.
That's great. They'll just go out separately, I mean, if they're, is that right?
Yep.
So if one's the middle or the last of April, that's no big deal as far as.
The road closing, I heard back from the other road viewer that I've been waiting, and basically they gave me the green light, they're always available is what I was waiting, so I need to contact the surveyor and then get it set up. I did speak to the applicant. They live out of state, or they're out of state right now. And, I just need to coordinate with their schedule because they indicated they want to be here, and if they're not, if it's when they have something else going on, they have family here that they want to coordinate with to see that they're there. So just so you know, that's moving itself behind the scenes. So that's, for right now, that's really all I have.
Okay. We've already been through everybody else, unless somebody's remembered anything. Okay. I believe we are done. We will adjourn at 12:28.
Very good.